Hey guys, I've got my March favorites for you. I've got a lot of stuff here in front of me, so why don't we go ahead and jump right in. If you are new to my channel, what I like to do is show you some cutaways of me applying as many of these favorites as I can. I think last month and maybe the month before, I was putting them on in natural light, and I wanted to continue doing that so you guys would get kind of like a different look and feel of the makeup. But today I forgot. Today I just kind of sat down in my filming space and just started putting on the makeup. And I think by the time I got to the blush, I was like, ugh, I forgot. So anyway, my cutaways are going to be of me applying them here, sitting in my filming area underneath some lighting. So I apologize. Next month, we'll get back to natural lighting because I think you guys really like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and start with some different type things for me. The first thing actually I want to talk about is something that many of you asked me to follow up on, and that is the Delina shower gel. So this is one of my favorite perfumes, Delina from Parfum de Marly. And I decided to get the shower gel. I have the body cream, which I haven't actually opened up yet because I have a lot of body cream to get through. And I wanted to see how kind of long lasting the shower gel was all on its own. So it is a very like lighter version of the perfume in every way. It's just a lighter floral. It's a little bit more like bright. It's a little bit less sweet. But it's the same perfume. It's not like it smells different. It's just a very kind of like lighter version of it. And what I will tell you is that it is incredibly long lasting. When I do use it as my shower gel and I don't put perfume on, I don't think I'm like wafting in this fragrance, but I can catch like whiffs of it all day on my skin. My entire bathroom smells like it. My little shower poof, no matter how many times I use a different shower gel with it, after I've used it with the Delina, it will still smell like the Delina. So this is, while it's light, it is very, very long lasting. It also lathers a lot. You don't need a lot of this. So I really like this shower gel. It's not drying to my skin or anything like that. So I'm really enjoying it. And I did just want to mention this to you guys, since so many of you asked. I did also want to talk about some perfumes that I've been reaching for. So there's two that I've been reaching for a lot during the day, or just when I'm feeling a little bit more casual and light. And that is the Creed Aventus for Her. And I think I talked about this maybe in my last month's favorites, but this is a very crisp, light, unisex kind of fragrance. Very, very sharp and crisp. And it has a lot of citrus in there, kind of white flowers, and definitely becoming like one of my all-time favorites. As you guys know, I love the Jo Malone Grapefruit and like the Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Aqua Universalis. I love those kinds of like really crisp, bright fragrances. And this is one of those. If you are into those kinds of fragrances, I think you'll really enjoy this. I've really been loving it. The other one that I've really been reaching for quite a bit is the Harmonist Guiding Water. This also has like a light, fresh, kind of sweet scent to it. But it's so strange because it does actually smell like water. It smells like there's humidity in the air, and it just seems right, you know, like April showers or whatever. It seems like a great kind of like seasonal change from winter into spring. It's almost, yeah, it's almost like it smells like a spring shower. It's really, really interesting. I've never personally smelled a fragrance that just is so reminiscent of like a spring shower. It's really, really cool. I don't know how you can bottle the scent of like humidity, but they did somehow. So I've really been enjoying this. It's actually what I'm wearing today. And then the other fragrance that is pretty new to me, but not new at all to the market, is the Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille. And I mentioned this in my Beautylish gift card recommendations video, and this is different for me. Like I said when I was talking about the Creed fragrance, I really like bright and crisp and unisex kind of fragrances. But this is like the fragrances that I have been really starting to embrace, like the Kilian Intoxicated. Like I'm really getting into these gourmand type of fragrances, the ones that kind of have this like coffee and rum and vanilla and burnt sugar kind of notes in there. They're just, oh, they're so delicious. And the sweetness of the Tom Ford definitely dissipates, and you're left with that really kind of serious, heavy kind of Tom Ford fragrance. So it is quite heavy, and typically I would say I would wear this for like fall, winter, but because I had just gotten it and just fell in love with the actual fragrance. I have been wearing it just on those days where I'm feeling a little bit more serious, or if I feel like I need a little touch up at night, I'll just kind of spritz myself with this. So I've really been enjoying this one. I'm so glad that I decided to give this one a shot. All right, so those were kind of the random favorites that I wanted to get out of the way. Let's go ahead and start with like base products. So I have really been enjoying this Dr. Dennis Gross All Physical Lightweight Wrinkle Defense SPF 30. So this has, let me see, it's all physical sunscreen. It is zinc oxide, so 16% zinc oxide, and it's oil-free, it's reef-safe, and it just goes on really beautifully. It wears under makeup very, very nicely. I think I used this in a trying new makeup video, and it wore underneath that foundation really nicely. So I've been testing it with other foundations. So I like applying like 3 light layers of sunscreen. That's sort of my ideal way of putting sunscreen on. It's a little bit more time intensive, but especially when it comes to physical sunscreen. So I just feel like it's the best way to avoid like a really, really kind of awful white cast to your face. I do still get a little bit of a white cast even when I use like light layers, but I don't think it's as bad as if I just like squeezed out a whole bunch and put it all on at once. So anyway, I've really been enjoying this. It wears very, very nicely under makeup. And with physical sunscreens, they tend to get very oily and greasy looking. And this doesn't. This does not like get worse as the day goes on. It does have a little bit of radiance to it, but it's not bad at all. And yeah, and it doesn't get worse throughout the day, which is pretty special. So I've really been enjoying this one. And oh, I do have this on my face today, but I did not film it because I put it on long before I sat down here. So anyway, I do have this on today. And then what I have on top of it is the By Terry Brightening CC Serum. Now this is not new. I've mentioned this in my favorites before, but I used to use, well, I still do, use the Sunny Flash shade, which is a little bit deeper than this one. This one is, I believe, the Apricot Glow. So this has a much lighter kind of tint to it than the Sunny Flash, which is pretty bronzy. And I was using that when I had a little bit more of a tan, when I wasn't, you know, like a shut-in, living like a shut-in. But this one is much more appropriate for my paler skin tone. So I do like using this as a primer. I'll just use like 1 pump, I'll spread it all over my face, and it just gives me a really beautiful glow. It's really kind of like a very subtle liquid highlighter, if you will. But if you put it down as a base and you use like a light foundation over it, the glow will still come through. And because it does have a tint to it, it also helps kind of even out skin tone, and yeah, just sort of helps out foundation on top of it. So anyway, I like starting with this. Of course, you can use it over foundation. You can use it alone. Sometimes I do use this alone in lieu of foundation. It's really quite lovely. If you're feeling strong that day, if you feel like your skin is looking really good, or if you just don't care, this is great all by itself as well. But I used it as a primer today. And then there are a lot of foundations that I have been testing out and playing with, and so many of them are really incredible. And I'm planning on doing a foundation roundup video just to summarize all of the foundations that I've been trying, the differences, the ones that I like, don't like, why I like them, why I don't like them, etc. So that hopefully will be coming soon. But there are 2 that I have been reaching for a lot over the past month, and they are fairly similar because they're both liquid foundations and they both have a very light coverage. But I wanted to mention the NARS Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. And they sent this to me because they just recently expanded the shade range for this. Now, this is not a new foundation at all, but it was new to me. And I've never tried this foundation before, even though it is like perfect for me. It is such a Michele foundation. It's a tinted moisturizer, so it has light coverage. It's very creamy. It has SPF in there. So I've been using the shade Gotland Light 1.2, and it's just lovely. It goes on beautifully. It wears beautifully throughout the day. I don't find that it fades strangely. It's just really great. And it has just a little bit of radiance. It's not one of those foundations that's going to make you look really greasy, or, you know, I feel like someone who has oily skin wouldn't be able to wear. I think this could work for all skin types, just kind of depending on preference as to like what kind of finish you like. But this does have a little bit of radiance, a little bit of luminosity, and I think it's just really, really gorgeous on the skin. So I'm so glad I finally tried this. Can't believe it's taken me this long. So that is one foundation. The other foundation is the one that I have on today, and that is the Givenchy Prism Libre Skin Caring Glow Foundation, and I have it in the shade 2-N120. This has, I think, an even lighter coverage than the NARS Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. They're both buildable, so you can definitely get to like a light medium, kind of leaning medium kind of coverage, but you know, I wouldn't reach for these foundations. If I wanted more of a coverage, I would just go for a different foundation. But these two both have a light coverage. I just find this one to be a little bit sheerer, and the formula or the texture of this foundation is like a little bit more of a liquid, while this is more of like a lotion kind of texture. So it is a little bit different in that regard, but they are very, very similar in the like slight radiance that you get, in how they wear. They just wear really beautifully throughout the day. I didn't find that they just faded strangely, or, you know, left my skin looking patchy or anything like that. Just really, really beautiful. So I've been loving both of these. And again, this one I think just has like a little bit of a lighter coverage than the NARS. And the NARS has an SPF. This does not claim to have an SPF. So those are the main differences between those two. So those are the two that I've been reaching for the most. I just used that Vapor Stick Foundation. I wanted to try it a little bit more. Many of you asked me like, how did it wear throughout the day when I did a trying new makeup video with it, and it wore beautifully, but I had a lot of powder on. If you guys remember, I was testing out that Armani Luminous Silk powder. So I had a lot of powder on top of that stick foundation, which I don't necessarily think is how I would normally wear my makeup. So I definitely want to keep testing out that stick foundation, kind of wearing it the way I normally would, lightly powdered, without any powder, maybe with some cream products on top, and then I will let you know. And hopefully in that foundation roundup video, I'll be able to kind of break it all down for you. But that's just something I wanted to let you know, because again, a lot of you asked me how that wore after I did that trying new makeup video, and it wore great. It did wear very, very beautifully that day, but I did have like a ton of powder on top. In terms of concealer, nothing new. You know, I tried that By Terry concealer last month. It's lovely. I continue to use that. Today, I used the Macrame Actives concealer. I continue to really enjoy this one. This concealer is very much like a serum concealer. It is definitely like skincare first and foremost, because I feel like my eyes just look so healthy after I take this concealer off. It's really, really quite magical. And I decided to use this one today because I woke up this morning and my eyes, just the allergies here are so bad. My eyes were so puffy. They were kind of like glued shut, and they just felt like they needed a little bit of TLC. So that's why I pulled out this concealer, and it reminded me to mention this again to you guys, because I just think it's really wonderful, and I think it's so smoothing to my under eyes, and not just in like an effect, like a makeup effect, like, oh, it's like pore filling or line filling or whatever. I think just long term, I think using this will just make your under eyes look a little bit more smooth. So I just wanted to mention that the Macrame Actives, what's the proper name? High Performance Concealer, and I do have it in the shade Light. Okay, in terms of powder, I actually just threw on my Sisley pressed powder. I'm not going to talk about this too much because I've talked about this ad nauseum. You guys are probably so sick of me mentioning this, but I did throw this on today. But I did want to mention two very new powders to my collection. But unfortunately, both of these have, or they give my skin a little bit of extra pigment. It makes my skin look a little bit deeper. So I just didn't feel like putting them on today, but they're both really, really lovely in very different ways. So the Dior Face and Body Powder No Powder, I have this in the shade 2N, which is the foundation shade that I use for all of the Dior foundations, or most of the Dior foundations that I have. So I thought this would work really well. And it's fine. It's just a little bit peachy on my skin. So I'm going to get a lighter shade, maybe one that's cooler. I have to look up the shades, but during the Sephora sale, I'm gonna go ahead and get like a lighter shade. But I really like how this powder makes my skin look. It is a baked gelée powder, so it's great for blurring. It looks really, really great, like in this area where I have larger pores, where I have like a little bit of texture. It just really kind of smooths and like really kind of puts like a filter over your face. So I really enjoy it for that, and I just need to get a different shade. And the same goes for the new Armani Luminous Silk. There's a full name, Luminous Silk Glow Fusion Powder. I have it in the shade 4. Again, this is the shade that I would normally get in an Armani foundation. So I was surprised that it was so deep, but I put this on and it looked like I put self tanner on. It looked just, I thought it looked nice, like if I wanted to go for a bronzy look, but I would like this powder in a shade that's just closer to my skin tone. But this powder is really pretty. It makes your skin look very satiny. It definitely has like a luminous silk kind of finish to the powder, and you know, it does blurring and all of that too, but I would say the standout characteristic of this powder is the finish that it gives your skin. It just, wow, like it just looks so satiny, smooth. And you know, having dry skin, I just love that like little bit of glow. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be getting a lighter shade of this as well during the sale. So wanted to mention those 2 powders, bronzers and contours. So I have 2 to talk about. Let me talk about, well, I actually have both on my face. So let me talk about the Wayne Goss Radiance Boosting Palettes. These are incredible. I love them so much. And I love that he paired a contour with a bronzer, because so often I think what we're seeing is like a bronzer and a highlight, or, you know, the highlight blush bronzer situation. And this is just so much more genius. So I have been using the light gold, which is the lightest shade. This one obviously is the contour. It's much cooler and it's matte. And then the bronzers in all of them have a little bit more warmth to them. And they have a little bit of a subtle satin sheen. So they're just, it's a great combination. It's a great combination. And then the bronzers, I think, just bring my complexion to life. So today I have the contour down because I wanted to use the other bronzer that I'm going to talk about, but I used the contour from this light gold palette. And the other shade that I've been using is Satin Bronze. And so this is the medium toned one. It's a little bit deep for me now, but I was using this when I was using all of these powders that were making me a little tanner, and it worked beautifully. So here we have the contour, here's the bronzer. Again, you can see there's like a little bit of a cool tone, and then the bronzer has like a little bit of a sheen. These are just really beautiful. And while I'm at it, let me just show you the deepest shade, which is Deep Copper. This is far too deep for me, but look at how beautiful the tones are. Just gorgeous. I love like the red undertone in this one. It's just gonna look so natural when applied. So that is Deep Copper, and those are the Radiance Boosting Face Palettes I've really been enjoying. But the bronzer, another bronzer I should say that I've been enjoying is from Vapor, and that's what I have kind of lightly dusted all over my face. So this is in the shade Eclipse. I think they only have one shade, and it has that really beautiful subtle satin sheen that I really, really love when it comes to cheek products. And it's just a really beautiful shade. It's neutral, it's not too warm, it's not too cool. Again, it has that subtle sheen, so I just think it looks really natural on the skin, and I love it. I think it's really nice. And I like this little slim compact. It has like a soft touch to it. It's really pretty. So that's from Vapor. As for blush, you know, I just love blush so much. I have so much blush. But when it comes to like the weather changing and we're kind of getting into spring, summer, I definitely gravitate towards cream blushes more. I've always been such a huge cream blush fan. I just think they're so pretty. And there's just something about blush that I think really lends itself to this cream formula. So there are 2 that I've been reaching for a little bit more than the others. Again, I have so much blush and I like kind of playing around with all of my blush, but these 2 really stood out to me. So the first one is the Clé de Peau Cream Blush in number 2. And this is just such a pretty pink with a slight peachiness to it. And the Clé de Peau cream blushes have that subtle satin sheen to them. I think you can see it in the video, but It's so beautiful. And the Clé de Peau cream blushes, I think their reputation precedes them. They are really something else. Just, they go on so evenly. The texture is really perfect, works beautifully. Under powder, over powder, all the good stuff. So I wanted to mention that one. But the one that I have on today is from Kier Weiss, and I definitely have talked about this before, but this is her cream blush in Above and Beyond. And this is like the perfect summer coral shade. It's just so perfect. So it's the only blush that I have on. So what you see is the Above and Beyond. I did apply it with my fingers, and I felt like it looked a little like too much. So I took my foundation brush, which probably had like a little bit of foundation left on it, and I used that to blend in the blush. So it helped blend in the blush, and also helped kind of tamp down the color of the Above and Beyond a little bit. But now that I'm looking at the viewfinder, I feel like I could probably use a little bit more just in the apples of my cheeks here. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit more. You guys know I love blush. Yeah, I like that. A little bit more color to my face. So these are the two cream blushes that I've been really reaching for quite a bit. All right, so those were blushes. And then in terms of highlight, I think I mentioned this in last month's favorite, but this still, it's just going strong. This is the new Westman Atelier Lit Up Highlight Stick in Nectar. The highlight stick is not new. This shade Nectar is fairly new. And this has just a beautiful kind of peachy tint to it. And so that's what I have tapped on my cheekbones today, and kind of down my nose a little bit above my brow. It's just beautiful. I love a cream highlight. It's a little bit, generally versus powder highlights, a little bit more subtle, and I like how it kind of melts into your skin, and it's just, at least this shade gives me a very natural kind of glow. And I've really been, I mean, I love highlight. You guys know I love highlight. But just lately, I've just been wanting something just, you know, a highlight that makes me look healthy versus a highlight that you can see from space. Not that there's anything wrong with those, and I definitely love those as well. But just lately, I've just been wanting ones that bring like a glossiness to my complexion. And yeah, I've been really loving this one. So this is great, and I'll just mention the By Terry again because you can use that as highlight as well. So that's it for highlights. Surprise, surprise. Eyebrows, I think I mentioned this last month also, but I've been continuously enjoying this Merit brow pomade. It's great. It is what I have in my brows today, and it's just lovely. I still love the Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel. I do. But this is just a little bit easier. It doesn't have the fibers. It just gives my brows a little bit. You know, the Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel gives my brows a little bit more than a little bit. So again, with this kind of lighter makeup look that I've been doing, this has really just found a spot in my makeup routine. So that's the brow gel that I've been continuing to love. And then as for eyes, I'm still just going strong with the single eyeshadows. So the Dior Mono Color Couture shadows. I have been using the Poncho satin shade, and that is what I have on my eyes today. It's a great one and done shadow. Really beautiful. I love the satin sheen. It's subtle, but it's just, again, like a little something. It doesn't look too dry, like if I were to put a matte shadow all over my lids. I always just feel like it just looks a little too dry. I like mattes, you know, like in my socket line area, maybe on the outer corner, but like all over, not my favorite thing. So I really love these satin shades from Dior, the satin and the metallics. Those are my two favorite finishes. And then the other one that I've been loving is Tulle. And this is just really pretty. It's definitely a brighter, obviously, a brighter shade to wear all over the lid. And these two together are also really, really nice. I just use Poncho all over, but you could use this like the inner portion of your lid just to kind of lighten that up if you want. Really beautiful. Love the formula. These are brand new, like reformulated single shadows from Dior, and they're just beautiful. I really love them. So been loving those. And then an oldie but goodie. I kind of just dug this out one day and I was like, oh, why don't I wear this more often? And I started to. So this is the Chantecaille Mermaid Eye Color in Seashell. It's just, again, it's just such a beautiful, like one and done shade. And this shade is like kind of in between Tulle and Poncho. So let me just hold it up next to Tulle. So Tulle has a brighter kind of punch to it, where the Seashell is a little bit more subtle, at least in tone. The finish of it is actually quite similar. So this is really nice if I want something kind of in between the tulle and the poncho. It has like a little bit more of like a golden kind of sheen to it. So there is Seashell. Isn't that pretty? Just for like a little touch on the eyes. Very, very pretty. So really been enjoying those and just continuing to love a single eyeshadow life. Love it. Let's move on to lips, because I do have a lot of lips to talk about, which is so funny because I know when we started wearing masks and, I thought for sure like, oh well, there goes my lipstick collection. I'm never going to wear them again. Or I'm just going to be going for like long wearing lipsticks. And I feel like the exact opposite thing happened. Like I'm just loving like nourishing, moisturizing, tinted balms, lip glosses, sheer lipsticks, like things like that. I've really been gravitating towards those more and more. And I don't know if it's because wearing a mask makes me want to like take care of this area more and not put on like a long lasting matte lipstick or something. I don't know. You guys let me know down below in the comment section, like what your whole lip feeling has been, like what your whole lip vibe has been lately. But yeah, mine, I've always liked glosses, but I've really gotten into like lip glosses. Anyway, let me talk about the one that I have on my lips today. And this is so brand new, and I don't generally like to put super brand new stuff into my favorites. But I have already ordered a backup. So this is the new Tom Ford Summer Soleil 2021 Sunlust Lip. And this is a color changing lip gloss. I love it so much. I love the finish. I love the fact that it is actually a peach lip gloss, but there's like a golden sheen to it. So I'm going to show you. So in the tube, it looks totally gold, but I think you can see it on the wand here. Do you see that peach color? That's what it actually turns into. Isn't that, first of all, that's so cool. And I did not expect that. And this color is just gorgeous. So this lip gloss, it's not sticky at all. It definitely is just, feels, just really moisturizing and nourishing. It feels like maybe there's some oils in here. Just really comfortable, really beautiful. And again, I love the finish of it. It's not that super high shine gloss. It has that kind of like satin finish to it. So I'm just in love. I love this lip gloss so much. And I'm glad I got it because I wasn't sure when I saw it in the tube. I was like, I like gold lips, but I don't know that I need like a gold lip gloss. And I'm glad I picked it up. So awesome. And then in the same vein of this like, tinted sheer kind of lip product, I have really been going hard with my Rouge Coco Flash. So Chanel just came out with those Rouge Coco Bloom lipsticks, which are lovely, which are great, but I was comparing them to the Rouge Coco Flash because they had like almost a similar kind of description. And so I was very curious about like how they were different or how they were the same. So I was kind of comparing the two, and in doing that, it kind of like revived my, not that I never loved these Rouge Coco Flashes, but it kind of revived my love for all of them that I have in my collection. So I've been wearing these three the most lately. So one is Chicness, just a really great everyday kind of warm nude. And then I've been wearing Boy a lot. So similar to Chicness, but just a little bit cooler. Like there's a little bit more pink in there. And then I've been loving Flushed, which is just such a great summertime color. So this is like a coral with a gold kind of sheen to it. Isn't that pretty? Look at that sheen. So pretty. So those are the three that I've been reaching for a lot, along with the one shade that I can't remember the name now. It's also a name that I can't pronounce, so it doesn't really matter. But the one limited edition shade that I think is sold out everywhere, I'm so bummed. But I've been wearing that one a lot as well too. So I'll list it all down below in my description box, but I've really been going for these three quite a bit lately. Very Michele colors, nudes, and then that corally color. And then I thought, oh, now is a great time to bring my Hermes Poppy Lip Shine back out because this is the perfect time for it. I love this for the warmer months. So this came out last year when Hermes first launched their lipsticks. And this is a very sheer orangey gold shade. So it's basically like a tinted balm, but it just has the most beautiful sheen to it. I just love it so, so much. And you guys know I just love a good like orange coral kind of lip color. It's so pretty. So I've been wearing this one. And then the two lipsticks that I have been wearing, I don't want to say a lot over the past month because again, I've really been gravitating towards these sheer shades. But when I do want to put a full lipstick on, I've been reaching for these two. So the Bobbi Brown Veronica Beard. This is limited edition, so I hope it's still around. But the shade is Sunset Orange. So I don't know if this is part of the regular line. But this color is absolutely like a head turner. It is neon. I was gonna say it's just short of neon. It's not. It's like a neon red color, and it's so pretty. There's like just a hint of warmth in there, so you know it kind of looks like a red orange, but it really is just stunning. So beautiful. This is one of those lip colors I feel like you could put on, and you don't really need to put on any other makeup because everyone's just going to be looking at your lips. So that's the Bobbi Brown Luxe Lip Color in Sunset Orange, and these Luxe lip colors, I don't think they get enough love. They are really highly pigmented, as you can see, really just like smooth, like just a really smooth application, and so vibrant. And they are, you know, they're like a creamy lipstick, so I wouldn't say they're long lasting, but they don't come like right off. So they're really good for everyday wear. So that's the Bobbi Brown Veronica Beard Sunset Orange. And then Jimmy Choo had come out with lipsticks that were released at Harrods last year, and I got a bunch. Harrods, at least for the US, has some pretty steep shipping, and I was just kind of waiting for these to pop up at like a local retailer or at the Jimmy Choo boutiques. Like it wasn't even at Jimmy Choo. Finally, these popped up at Jimmy Choo, and when that happened, I was reminded of them, and I was like, oh my God, there's that one color that I love. So this one is Coral Kiss, and well, it's very similar to the Bobbi Brown, but let me show you this packaging in case you missed the release of these lipsticks at Harrods. But here is the packaging, and this is just a case. So it's meant to look like a stiletto heel, and then the lipstick just pulls out. And the bullet has like a snakeskin effect on there. Isn't that so cool? So this Coral Kiss color, yes, it is very similar to the Bobbi Brown. And in fact, well, I think the Bobbi Brown, okay, so this is the Bobbi Brown. This is the Jimmy Choo. The Jimmy Choo is a touch more red, and then the Bobbi Brown has a little bit more orange in there. I mean, they're so close, but you could see why, if you like one, you would like the other for sure. Do you need both? Probably not. But I really love the formula of the Jimmy Choo. I mean, as much as the Bobbi Brown, they both are actually very similar, except this has like the Jimmy Choo fragrance to it, just FYI, where the Bobbi Brown doesn't have any fragrance at all. So yeah, I've just been loving these two colors. Again, when I just feel like wearing a lipstick, putting a lipstick on, I've been reaching for like one of these. So those are all of my favorites. Definitely keep an eye out, definitely subscribe if you're into a foundation roundup video. I definitely want to get that done for you fairly quickly. I don't know if there are any new foundations coming out that, oh, there is actually. Maybe after I get that. So I'm definitely going to be doing a Sephora VIB sale recommendations video. I'm going to be doing a shop with me video where you're going to shop with me and see what I put into my Sephora cart, which is basically going to be like my Sephora wish list for the sale. Hopefully I'll be able to get everything I put in there. You guys know it gets crazy and everything sells out. But those videos are definitely coming. So the one foundation I want to try, I think, before I do the roundup is that Fenty Eavesdrop foundation. It's another one that just sounds so up my alley. It's like lightweight. It's just kind of like a tint. It's supposed to be blurring. I really want to try it. So maybe after that. So maybe next week. Sorry for all the thinking and planning out loud. But I think I'll do a foundation roundup after I get that one. So anyway, keep an eye out for these Sephora videos. They're definitely coming this week. The sale starts soon. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I'll see you in my next video.